Hi everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight's video is going to be my preliminary final tips for the NRL 2020 season. We're only 1 week out from another grand final, and we've got two big preliminary final matches coming up this weekend. Firstly, we've got Melbourne and Canberra, and then we've got South and Penrith. So I'm pretty sure that all of you are just excited as I am to see who's going to make it to the 2020 NRL grand final. Before I get to the video, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that's subscribed to my channel. I'm up to nearly 270 subscribers. I want to get to 300 by the end of the month. Thank you to everyone for your support. If you watched my videos but you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button so you stay in the loop with all the new videos that I'm doing. And I've got plenty more to come in the next week or so, and coming up in the off season as well. Now, getting back to these tips, the first preliminary final is between Melbourne and Canberra. This match is being played at Suncorp Stadium, and it's kicking off at 10 to 10 my time, because I'm in England. So it's kicking off at 9:50 a.m. in the morning and probably about 8 o'clock at night in Brisbane. So Melbourne are pretty much unchanged. I think Cameron Munster, he's been named back in the team. There was a bit of a doubt surrounding him, but he's been named in the side. Riley Jacks is on standby, and Dale Finucane's been asked to prove his fitness, and if he's fit enough, I think Craig Bellamy's going to include him in the side. And Canberra, for the second week in a row, Ricky Stewart's kept the faith. He is keeping the side unchanged. Now, Canberra and Melbourne have a bit of history in the finals together. This is going to be their fifth meeting. They've met each other four other times, with Melbourne winning 3 of those. Melbourne and Canberra have played in the 1998 semi-final, which Melbourne won 24-10. The 2003 qualifying final, which Melbourne won 30 points to 18. The 2016 preliminary final, where Melbourne won 14-12. And the 2019 qualifying final, where Canberra upset Melbourne down in Melbourne 12 points to 10. Now, for this game, I think it's going to be a really tight match. I think Canberra has what it takes to beat Melbourne, and I think Melbourne know that Canberra in the last couple of years has been a bit of a bogey side for them. Melbourne had that win over Parramatta, although I think Parramatta, especially in that second half, were quite poor and they weren't composed, and they had a chance to beat Melbourne, but they blew it by doing daft mistakes and just switching off at those vital moments. And Canberra, they've had 2 good wins over Cronulla, and they knocked out Eastern Suburbs last week, who were going for a 3-peat. Now, I think if Canberra's going to win this match against Melbourne, the key to them winning this game, they must start well. They must start well. They mustn't make any errors. They mustn't give away any set restarts, no penalties, and also the kicks must be good. Because I think, personally, one way to beat Melbourne is you have to make sure that those kicks are on point. We've seen a couple of teams this year, especially Parramatta in that first week of the finals. They put a couple of kicks up to Pappenhausen or Addo-Carr. The chase wasn't good, and it gave the back three in Melbourne too much freedom to run, and that can spell danger for other clubs trying to defend those kick returns, because if you give Addo-Carr or Pappenhausen too much space, they can just run rings around you. I noticed in some of the kicks that Parramatta did, though, if they were high enough and they weren't too deep and the chase was good, it pretty much took Pappenhausen and Addo-Carr and Vunivalu out of the game. So I think they're the 2 key points for Canberra. They must start well, and the kicks have to be good. For Melbourne, I think they're favourites in this match. It's being played at Suncorp Stadium, which is pretty much a second home for Melbourne, because I've always considered them to be a Queensland side. Most of the side are Queenslanders, or at some stage in their career they've either come up through the system, or they've had to play reserve grade for Sunshine Coast or one of those clubs. Now, unfortunately for this game, I think Melbourne's going to win. I just have this feeling that they're going to win. I really hope it's not true, because if you watch the channel, you know me thoughts about Melbourne. I hate them more than any club on the planet and any sporting code. even more than Liverpool and Bayern Munich and clubs like that. I can't stand Melbourne. I really hope that I'm proven wrong. I really want Canberra to meet this grand final. I'd be really, really happy if Canberra can make it. If Melbourne win, I'm going to be depressed. I'm probably going to throw up in a bucket, big pineapple chunks in a bucket. I'm going to throw up everywhere. I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be mopey all week. But yeah, unfortunately, I think Melbourne's going to get up. But Canberra, prove me wrong, please. I don't want Melbourne in another grand final. Now we come on to our second preliminary final. This one's between Penrith and South Sydney. This one's kicking off on Saturday night, 10 to 10 my time. It's going to kick off. That's probably going to be about 7:45, 8 o'clock Sydney time. Penrith's the home team, although it's technically South Sydney's home match, home ground, even though I consider this to be a neutral ground to pretty much everyone. Penrith, they're missing Villiarby Kickout, and South are pretty much unchanged. I think Jaden Sewer's got a bit of a question mark over him. With Penrith, they got Keatwell coming in for Kickout, and even though he's not as good a player as Kickout, he does have first grade experience and he does have finals experience, having played with Cronulla. This is Penrith and South Sydney's first ever meeting in the finals. So they've never met before in the last 53 year that Penrith's been in the competition. And this is South's third preliminary final in a row. Although in the last two in this game, they're going in as underdogs. So I think even if they lose this game, if you're a South Sydney supporter out there, you shouldn't feel too upset with the season that you've had, because I think South's season has been a success. And once again, they're in another preliminary final, but they're underdogs. So if they were to lose this, it's not like they were region not favourites and they've lost. They are the underdog. Penrith are the favourites. Penrith have only lost the one match this year against Parramatta. They're on an amazing winning run. They've taken out the minor premiership. They've played well all season. Souths have timed their finals run perfectly. And the thing about Souths is that even though their starts have been poor over the last 3 or 4 weeks, they come back strongly. They've got this thing about themselves where they can put 3 or 4 tries on you in 10 minutes. They can just go bang, 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 tries, and then you kind of go, what fucking happened? What it was? We don't know what it was. And I think Penrith have to be really careful of that. If Penrith get off to a good start, they have to be very careful of that potential for South to do that to them. Although I think with the season that Penrith have had and the way that they've been playing, I think that South are going to find it difficult to do that against Penrith. For this match though, I'm going to go for Penrith to win this game. I think it's going to be a really close match. But I think if you're a Penrith supporter out there or you're associated with the Penrith club, anything but a grand final and a premiership victory would be a failure of a season, because I know what it's like to be a Parramatta fan and to be watching a side that's so dominant all year, and then you get to the final or the preliminary final and the club falls short, and I know what that feels like. And for you Penrith supporters out there, you wouldn't want to experience that feeling. I think with the season that Penrith had, they have to go all the way. Anything less than a premiership is a failure. And their side, Penrith, they have a bit of finals experience in the side. They've got Mansour, they've got Cleary, they've got a couple of other players that have been there before. They've experienced the defeats in the finals. They know what that feels like. They don't want to have that feeling repeated again. And I think they're going to be really ready for this match. But it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Souths do win, because Souths have been playing well the same as Penrith. But I just think Penrith are just going to have just a little bit too much for them. And I'm thinking it's going to be a Penrith and Melbourne grand final next week. But anyways, everyone, that's me 2 tips for the preliminary finals. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, click that like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you keep up to date with all the latest videos that I'm doing. Anyways, everyone, I'm going to get out of here and hope you enjoy the rugby league this weekend. Alright, catch us all later. Bye bye.